I don't think Americans realize how getting the immigrants out of the country is not going to help them. It's just going to make eggs more expensive.
Hey, folks, do you like oranges?
I do.
What about lemons?
I do.
Limes?
I like lemons and limes.
NBC News, Bay Area. This is, I would assume, Northern California. Is that what it is? Has some bad news for you. Now, if you're an American, there's going to be a great opportunity for you opening up. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of Americans racing to pick these citrus fruits at hopefully increased pay, because they can't be lorded over, with their immigration status. And of course, get ready to pay for more of your oranges and lemons, which, frankly, we should pay more for stuff.
And
is so that people can get a working, a livable wage. But rounding up immigrants is one way to do it. The other way to do it would be to give them legal status so they could unionize. But here is a news report from NBC News.
It's the peak of the citrus harvest season in Kern County right now, but the industry is taking a hit after immigration agents conducted several operations last week targeting undocumented immigrants with criminal records. The California Farm Bureau reports that the action made some ag workers too afraid to show up for work, bringing the area's citrus harvest to a virtual halt.
Definitely, we are certainly very concerned about what is happening and how that is unfolding.
The Monterey County Farm Bureau says it is keeping a close eye on the developments in the Central Valley. Harvest season in the Salinas Valley begins in late April. The Farm Bureau says just the threat of deportations could be enough to deter many of the 55,000 migrant workers the valley needs to operate during harvest season.
They're not going to show up for work, and that means crops will remain in the field and not be harvested and probably lost at that point.
The Farm Bureau says that could lead to higher food prices.
They were called essential workers during the pandemic when our nation needed them, and now they are asking us to be there for them when they need us.
The Farm Bureau joined Monterey County leaders on Wednesday to pledge to do what they can to protect workers and their families.
Con instrucciones precisas de nuestra presidenta Claudia Sheinbaum.
The Mexican Consul General says consulates across the country have a direct order from the President of Mexico to assure the basic rights of undocumented immigrants aren't violated.
Our growers remain concerned.
Just to be clear, the reports on the ground say that this idea that the ICE is just going after migrants with criminal records is total BS.
Yep.
They are harassing.
Can we get Norm Groot and his magnificent stash on the show? Maybe if we all Coke shaky hard enough. I have a couple opinions that I want to share. One, what part of this is confusing for conservatives? You voted for the guy who said he was going to deport all the illegals. ICE agents start deporting illegals and detaining illegals. So the illegal immigrants don't show up to work, because if they show up to work, they're going to get arrested. So these people have no one to work the job. So the crops go unpicked. So they don't end up on your shelves, which drives costs up because supply can't meet demand, which makes the groceries more expensive. What was confusing here? Which part of this was supposed to do what you wanted it to? Their decision is purely based on vibes, logic, and reasoning isn't going to help us understand them. I know, I just like, isn't it crazy? Isn't it like insane to think about? That there's no foresight here? at all? Even a little bit? And like, we sometimes will get like Trumpers in chat, and there are, I know at least a couple of you guys still in here, but note that they're very quiet about this. And here's the thing that is often not considered. Number one, sorry, wait, really quickly. Trump literally had to subsidize farmers with $20 billion last time he had a trade war with China because they stopped importing US soybeans. Yeah. Number one, you will struggle to find any Americans that are even willing to do that as a job. I don't know if anyone's ever worked physical labor in the heat before. It's not fun. It's really not fun, okay? They're really long hours, and it's really hot, and it's really bad for your back. Like, the people who have to pick radishes, you're hunched over all day fucking doing this. And it's really hot. Bugs too. I mean, I think you can grow. I think honestly, a lot of Americans and like just people in general, fear of bugs is just because you don't spend enough time around bugs. Like I will tell you for a fact, when I was and I also think it's like learned because as a kid, I could pick up ants and pick up butterflies and pick up ladybugs. I could pick up all types of bugs when I was a kid. And now as an adult, it's like, and I'm still trying to get over it because like it's really they're just little bugs. They're just little bugs. I still can pick up ants, but the idea of holding anything else is spooky scary. But more than that, I want to ask all of you a question that I've asked many times before about labor and about work from home. I'm sure many of you can guess where I'm going to go with this. I have personally known people that have taken a pay cut to work from home. That people who work in like an office just don't want to show up to the office. They just don't want to have to shower and get dressed and be awake enough and then sit in traffic and then have to buy lunch and then have to fucking spend time with coworkers you don't like and have your boss hover around you all day, even though that doesn't make you work harder, and then sit in your fucking dog shit commute back home. Now, of course, there's some like math to be made here, or like there's I do think generally speaking, you save a lot of money working from home because you save money on like gas and you save money on like breakfast or lunch because you can just open your fridge and just get whatever you need. And you save money on like semi-mandatory hangouts with coworkers that you don't really want to hang out with. It's like, I guess I'm doing this now. And then you also save time on the commute. But even taking that into consideration, I have known people that have been happy to take a pay cut or have happily declined a pay boost to be able to continue working from home. That's how much people don't want to show up to work, which I think is based, to be very clear. I've always thought that the fact that we are forced to show up to an office, even though it's not fucking necessary, is stupid. It pays for itself, IMO? Yeah, but let's just say that it didn't. Let's say you actually did take a pay cut. Like it was even taking into consideration all of the savings you have from working from home. I know a lot of people who would take that pay cut. Think about how much you would have to get paid to show up to work, and your work is doing physical labor in a farm for hours every day in the unbelievable heat that is Florida. You're not going to find Americans willing to do that job at minimum wage. People will see that and be like, dude, I'd rather fucking work in a McDonald's, dude. If I'm going to get paid minimum wage anyways, why would I fucking do that? At least if I work anywhere else, I'll be in an AC'd room. Fuck, dude. Hell no. The percentage of people that are willing to work. Look at this. This chatter. You won't find any blue-haired leftists, that's for sure. It's so funny you say this because I've never met a single conservative ever that grows fruits and vegetables in their backyard. It's only leftists that I've ever met that grow fruits and vegetables. All the conservatives that I know, they just like go to the store, buy steak, buy like bacon, eggs, and they're like, my groceries are so expensive. It's like, well, maybe it's because you're buying the expensive stuff. I know. As an idea, as a concept. My conservative family grows stuff, but they're Italian. Okay, I'm glad you understand though. That's because they're Italian. Terrified of the color green. What is that? Anywho. Okay. Anywho, going back to what we were talking about. It's also funny hearing conservatives complain about agriculture work being so hard, but I've actually worked it and they've never have. Yeah. Then they die of a cholesterol heart attack at 40. Guys, oh my God, I meant to show this to you guys yesterday or the day before, and I totally forgot. Did you guys see the guy who had so much butter and meat and milk that the cholesterol was leaking out of his hands? I saw that, it made me vegan. Dude, I feel like we all know that like too much cholesterol, like generally eating fried foods, eating too much red meat, eating too much butter isn't great for you. And they're still doing it. It's like, what do you think is gonna happen? Anyway, sorry. This one. Florida man's disgusting bodily change after eating nothing but butter, cheese, and beef. Patient showed up to Tampa General Hospital 3 weeks after painless yellow lesions appeared all over his palms, soles of his feet, and elbows. Though he claimed he lost weight and had more energy and mental clarity, his cholesterol was over 1,000 milligrams per deciliter. 5 times more than the normal level. Just wash it down with some raw milk. Dude, when your hands have smegma on them, like, you need to reevaluate your life, dude. What the hell? Oh my God. Oh. Doctors found that the excess cholesterol, a fatty substance found in the blood and all cells in the body, caused it to ooze out of the man's blood vessels, causing yellow deposits on his skin. Don't zoom in on it. This cannot be real. I don't know, man. I think it might be real, guys. I think it might be real. That guy actually is Butterfingers. Ew. Oh. This is a crazy Newsweek article, dude. Man reportedly started on a carnivore diet 8 months before his symptoms began. As the name might suggest, carnivore diets are characterized by consuming primarily or only animal-based foods. The diet eliminates carbohydrates entirely, relying instead on proteins and fats for energy, all of which are from animal sources. People on the carnivore diet generally consume foods including meat, fish, eggs, organ meat, bone marrow, and full-fat dairy and animal fats like lard. His dietary habits included a high intake of fats consisting of 6 to 9 pounds of cheese, sticks of butter, and additional fat incorporated into his daily hamburgers. I don't know how the fuck you're even going through 6 to 9 pounds of cheese / butter a day. Dude, I love cheese. I fucking love cheese, dude. I'm so happy I'm not lactose intolerant because I am a cheese fiend. And even I could not eat 6 to 9 pounds of cheese and butter a day. I had a stepdad years ago that was on the carnivore diet. He sweated butter, smelled like shit, 400 pounds. He's dead. Want to guess why? Zoinks, dude. Fuck. Anyways, back to the video. Okay, sorry about that. I don't know how we got onto that. I just needed to share it. I got you, Hyphomancer. I'm in audio only at the moment. Sounds like your hair. It sounds like your hair looks good. Mods, I need your help. I forgot to send a timer for my laundry. What time did I come to Denim's hair? That's when I started it. 9:20 PST. I got you, dog.
Everyone they can, and they're finding migrants who are undocumented, regardless of whether they've been convicted or accused of any type of crime. And I will remind you that it is not a criminal act to enter the country without documents, any more so than speeding is a criminal act. It's a civil violation. That's what's going on. We're going to feel it soon with these prices going up.
Yeah.
But again, don't make the mistake of saying that, like, well, because we won't provide a path to citizenship and allow folks like this to have their rights as citizens or workers, and to collectively bargain, is justification for rounding them up and sending them out. If we really want to do this, let's go to those farmers who hired undocumented workers, and let's lock them up and see what the dynamic is, how different that would be.
Well, remember they tried to do that in Florida, and all of those business owners freaked out because they were like, we're okay with you holding over the immigration status, holding that over our workers' heads so we can pay them sub-minimum wage and potentially abuse them. But you're going to come after us if we hire undocumented people? And then quickly the Republicans in Florida just scuttled that part of what they were trying to do.
Here is CBS on Wednesday night. CNN, speaking with Greg Mose, a South Dakota-based dairy farmer. And he's already, wait a second, what's going on here? Go ahead.
What percentage of your workers are not U.S. born?
Probably half.
About half?
Yeah.
How many hours does this go on?
It's 24 hours a day. You know, we could milk 8 hours a day, but it wouldn't be feasible or profitable for us to produce milk.
So you need workers like this year round.
And just want to say, by the way, this is on top of the fact that we heavily subsidize the dairy industry. Heavily. Milk is unbelievably subsidized in the United States, which I'm not saying is necessarily a bad or a good thing. I'm just saying the fact that they're saying it's not profitable if they're not being able, or if they're not going to be able to run for 24 hours a day, on top of the fact that we subsidize the fuck out of them, like, man, Christ. Seattle Green, thank you for the tier 1. Oh, no. All these dairy workers, our hands look like this, so yours can look like this, cheese hands. No. 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 Okay, sorry. Jeez. Hydrogen, thank you for the prime. Pug Daddy, thank you for the 15 months. CT5s, thank you for the 24 months. Alabastrian, thank you for the 2 months. Easy, thank you for the 12. Scrooge, thank you for the tier 1. Item transfer, thank you for the prime. Rogue, thank you for the 31 months. Wills, thank you for the prime. Just Clown Biz, thank you for the 12 months. Fonta, thank you for the prime. Limbo, thank you for the 31 months. Sorry, I want to read out the subs. I keep forgetting to read out subs, and I'm going to remember this time. Robin, thank you for the 4 months. Klaus, thank you for the prime. Milk Boxes, thank you for the prime. Very fitting name for the conversation today. Guys, look at my worm. He's so peaceful. He's so peaceful. Krista, thank you for the prime. Nabizi, thank you for the 2 months. Sir Herder, thank you for the prime. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I really do appreciate all of the support. I don't say it enough, but I just want to say I do really appreciate all the support. And I appreciate being able to make this type of content and stream what I want to stream and say what I want to say and call the Elon salute a Nazi salute and not have to worry that I'm going to be fired from my job as a meteorologist at this news network for saying it on my private time. And if you like the show and you would like to support it, please feel free to drop a sub or some gift subs or a prime. And it means a lot and it lets me do what I want to do. And it lets me do this little show and I really appreciate it. Forget the politics. I just want a wormy stream. Is that meteorologist story real? Yes, 100% real. On her private account, on her private social media account, or sorry, personal social media account, she said that he Nazi saluted and she got fired from her job. Good country. Free speech country, by the way. Obviously, free speech doesn't prevent you from like being in violation of your company or whatever, or being a brand risk. But isn't it crazy that you can call out what like an actual Nazi salute and get fired for it? We are Warlock. Thank you for the prime. Thank you. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. She also got brigaded by some radio hosts. I believe it. Yeah. Yeah. Champagne Cyclist. Thank you for the 1,000 biddies. Thanks. Ah, God. Okay, wait. I want to engage genuinely and nicely, chat. We're going to start a new strategy in 2025 until I decide I don't feel like doing it anymore. Where we're going to be polite. Okay? And you can remain in chat unless you say slurs or if you're really annoying. Didn't Elon offer to cover legal fees of anyone who lost their jobs for posting on Twitter? I'm sure he meant it for everyone, right? Mao Zedong. fucking name, dude. Oh God. Says chatter. So all those sorry. So all those legal immigrants that have to go through so many hoops should just come with a ladder going over the wall. Let the people do it the right way. You need those steps to weed out the criminals. I have 2 questions for you. 1, were you saying it sarcastic? Were you being hyperbolic about the ladder thing? Like do you think that they're putting a ladder on the wall? Is that genuinely what you think? I'm asking genuinely. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm genuinely asking. Because if you're just joking, okay. But if you're not, I'm concerned. 2, how do you think the vetting process works? Have you spoken with immigration lawyers? I'm sure he's going to answer me genuinely, and he won't just leave it at LMAO ... So we're going to give him some time, give him some space, let him write a well thought out message. All right. What's so bad about criminals? Don't they contribute more to society than the majority of Twitch viewers? Now, if I was a terrible person, I would agree with you and then point at Luigi Mangione. Luckily,
Can I be annoying if I also compliment your cats? DNM said DNM.
Yes, you can be annoying as long as you love my cats like I do. But luckily, I hate all criminals equally. If you commit any crimes, I hate you and think you're terrible. Santos, thank you for the tier 1. Juggling grenades, thank you so much for the 19 months. Javi, thank you so much for the 9 months. Sorry, Javi, thank you. Okay, let's continue.
Yes. Governor Kristi Noem of South Dakota, her farm is just a few miles away. This farmer who voted for her, who voted for Trump, who still supports them, doesn't believe that they would round up immigrants and ask them for their immigration status because it's an open secret that farms in this state are held up by undocumented workers. Are you worried like some of your...
Pause it for 1 second. Now, here's the open secret she's not telling you, is that farm down the road, Kristi Noem's farm, is not somehow living in some different bubble from every other farm there, but she knows she's got undocumented immigrant workers there. That's why that guy is so confident they're not going to round up his undocumented immigrant workers, because he knows that she down the road in her farm has undocumented immigrant workers. Now, CBS could tell us this.
CNN.
It would just... Let's just drive down the road. Hey, I wonder if Kristi Noem has undocumented immigrant workers. Anybody in the car think that? You know, we're out here, they flew us out here, maybe. No, forget it. Go ahead.
Undocumented workers. Are you worried, like some of your other farmers, that if there were a mass roundup of undocumented migrants, that you might lose workers? You might not have enough workers.
Well, the question I asked: how are they going to do that? Within 2 days, we will not have food. There will not be food anywhere.
2 days.
Yes.
Sorry, the chatter responded. Background checks, medical exams. I'm assuming this was this typo for interview forms. You think all of that is not necessary? I would think it was necessary if it actually led to a reduction in crime. There's only one little problem, which is that across the board, the data that we have, and like, not to facts over feelings you, but like the data we have shows pretty consistently that undocumented immigrants commit significantly less crime than both US-born citizens and documented immigrants. That the process of going through all of this doesn't even make a meaningful difference. Like they're committing almost like half as many crimes and they have half as many arrests. Becoming a legal citizen makes you more of a criminal? Well, of course it does. Well, because you have like due process, you know that you have constitutional rights as a citizen. You know that you have a right to a fair trial, a speedy and fair trial. You have the right to an attorney. You don't have to constantly worry that the second you get into any altercation, verbal altercation with any people of authority, police officers, ICE agents, whatever, you won't immediately get deported. Suddenly, maybe going 40 on a 30 doesn't seem as scary because worst you'll get is a ticket. When you're undocumented, going 40 on a 30 might mean you get deported. LMAO, you literally have viewers here saying illegal workers have gone through that. You have brain dead viewers. Why are you talking about the viewers? Why don't you want to talk to me? Could you respond to this? Could you respond to the data that shows that undocumented immigrants consistently commit less crime? This data is from Texas, if that helps at all. I'm going to give you a little second so you can collect your thoughts and come up with a response. Okay, back to the video.
That's why I predict nobody will be filling the shelves, nobody will be producing food. If we once have to shut down and be gone, it's never coming back.
Does Governor Noam understand that?
I would think so.
You have a lot of faith that they're not going to do what they're saying.
That's pretty much what I'm thinking. So we have to trust in our officials that are put in place.
So wait, let me try and understand, because I really want to reach out to this farmer and understand him. He voted for people that he's got to trust, and he's going to trust that they're not going to do what they say they were going to do. The story is this guy knows they're not coming for his workers because they'd have to come for Kristi Noem's down the road. That's the story.
Unless they do come forward. I mean, who knows, right? Who knows? I don't know if that's true. It doesn't necessarily even...
There's going to be carve-outs.
Of course there will be carve-outs.
I mean, like, they may be coming for people, you know.
Oh, they're back here. Using common sense, just the background check part. Do you think this will not reduce the chance of having criminals committing crimes in the U.S.? If you have illegal migrants that have committed 10 violent crimes in the past year, do you believe there's a bigger chance they will commit crimes here or not? So there's a couple problems with what you're talking about. Number one is a lot of these countries, unfortunately, due to the fact that the country's been destabilized by one, other nations, and two, cartels. Crime records aren't great. Like the process trying to find this information isn't going to be great. Two, this doesn't actually answer what I spoke about, which is, hey, we already do this, and these people are still committing more crimes than the undocumented immigrants. If using common sense having them be documented would mean that we would avoid violent criminals. Why is it that consistently when we document them, the documented ones still commit more crime? So using your common sense here, shouldn't the undocumented ones be committing more crimes? Okay, back to what we're talking about.
You know, in a different state, or they may be coming people like, 200, 400 miles away, but they ain't coming around here because I'm pretty confident. I trust Kristi Noem. She wants to keep her farm going too.
But it's a little bit of like a replay of that fight with Vivek Ramaswamy and the genuine white nationalists in the Trump kind of circle, is that they, like, Elon Musk and maybe it wasn't Ramaswamy, it was Elon Musk. Elon was saying that he was in favor of those visas because that, like, there needs to be more high skilled workers in his tech industry, basically, right? And he can pay them things he probably couldn't pay Americans to do the same job. But the white nationalists were like, we don't really care.
And also, like, we've already seen this play out in at least Georgia. These farmers who have to deal with immigration being all but outlawed and illegal immigrants being all but outlawed, they are struggling to find Americans that are willing to work these jobs. Like, Americans don't want to work these jobs. They don't want to work them at minimum wage. For sure, they don't want to do that. It's very, it's very difficult labor.
We want them out. We want them out anyway. We want anybody out that isn't like ethnically pure in the way that we view it. So who wins the day in the end? I'm not necessarily sure. Probably the capitalists, but I don't know. It's hard to predict what the effect is going to be, because it could be the same thing in South Dakota with this farmer that they're seeing in California, or they're probably going to go after blue states first, is what it's going to be, I guess, now that I'm working it out loud. We were saying this yesterday. Eric Adams was on Tucker Carlson's show and was saying that he was being politically targeted by the Biden administration because he raised concerns about immigration. And if you are an undocumented person in New York City, you should not think that Eric Adams is going to protect you. Like, I got to be real here. Try to look at the circumstances of where you're living. Watch out for that, because I think Adams in particular, of all of these big city mayors where they're going to do these raids, he's the one that's most susceptible right now to capitulating to Donald Trump, because he needs that pardon.
Yep. I think that's true. I think that's true. Bingo dango. Worcester and Fitchburg schools are resisting ICE and distributing info to students about their rights. ICE are waiting at school bus stops to nab kids and family members. Jesus. What scumbags. I hope somebody's got video of that. Just horrible human beings. Hey.
Yeah. And I mean, like, this is currently actively happening. ICE arrests over 500 immigrants while Trump visits states ravaged by natural disasters.
Of President Trump's illegal immigration crackdown, the first of 1,500 extra troops touching down in El Paso, Texas to support border security. And for the first time, migrants being deported not on chartered flights like before, but on military aircraft. 2 flights landing this morning in Guatemala.
We're getting the bad, hard criminals out. These are murderers. These are people that have been...
My PA has said that some of the undocumented people that he met all live in, like, the same house, sometimes 7 or 8 relatives. Even if they have to work night shifts, they'll sleep in the same bed. Some will sleep in the daytime and some at night. Well, yeah, I mean, if you're working below minimum wage because you're an undocumented immigrant, you can't exactly... Americans currently can't afford to live in a 1-bedroom apartment working minimum wage in, like, how many cities? How much of the United States is inhabitable if you work a minimum wage job? If you work below minimum wage, there's just no way that you are going to be able to get an apartment. Like, that's not possible. Like, to be able to afford an apartment. Pretty much every major city, I think you can't even do it in any state. I think it's most or 100% of it. I just didn't remember if it was most of them or 100%. I just don't remember. I feel like it's equally likely that it's all of them, but I'm like, no, that's too crazy, right? It can't be all of them. Right? Right? That's too insane. It is in every city in America. There was a study done on it in like early COVID. No, guys, no, that's not possible. No. Guys, the chatter didn't respond. Ignored by a chatter. Feels bad, man. Ghosted by a chatter. Feels bad, man. Sag.
As bad as you get.
After a record 10 million illegal border crossings over the past 4 years, ICE now ramping up roundups of undocumented immigrants, making 538 arrests yesterday across the country, doubling its daily average in September. Cities including San Francisco, Salt Lake City, and Atlanta. In Newark, New Jersey, this surveillance video appears to show ICE agents making arrests. City officials and immigrant advocates say ICE agents raided this local business, arresting 3 undocumented immigrants and briefly detaining an American citizen, a military veteran, while they asked him for documentation.
They were scrambling up delivery ramps. They were banging down bathroom doors to make sure no one was hiding inside.
ICE doesn't call them raids, but targeted enforcement operations, adding agents sometimes encounter U.S. citizens while conducting field work and may request identification.
Do you plan to use city resources to impede?
I like that our city resources are being used to go to farmers and people working on farms and then asking for documentation and then arresting them when they don't have their documentation. Papers, please. Oh, you don't have it? Okay, get in the van. We're really fixing the country by arresting the people who are making sure we have fruits and vegetables and milk and cheese. Also, like, can you imagine, like, bringing all of your documentation and paperwork to work?
ICE.
We're not going to participate in what we think is unlawful.
Newark's Democratic Mayor Ras Baraka telling us late today there were 2 more operations in his city where more than a third of the population was born outside the U.S.
Donald Trump won this election. What would you say to Trump supporters who are watching this and saying, that's what we voted for?
They're wrong. I would say you're wrong. You were wrong then, and you're wrong now.
Meanwhile, according to this internal memo obtained by NBC News, the Trump administration is reversing another Biden border policy, allowing ICE officials to quickly deport migrants who were legally allowed into the country temporarily under the Biden administration. Back in El Paso, Daniel De La Cruz lives just blocks from the border.
And like, this is another problem with Trump supporters, I think, who they don't understand that the current policy is the current policy under Biden and the policy under Trump previously and the policy under Obama and the policy under all of these people has been the same. If you commit a crime as an illegal immigrant, you will get arrested and deported immediately. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200. That is what the policy has always been. You are allowed to be here until you commit a crime. We're going to ignore your presence or your existence because you work on these farms and we need that labor. or you work on these construction sites and we need that labor and we abuse that labor. Abuse here being pay you less than minimum wage for unbelievably difficult labor, very strenuous labor. Unless you commit a crime. When you commit a crime, you're out of the country. And it doesn't matter how severe the crime is or how mild the crime is. You shoplifted, well, you're out of the country. All we've done now is make it more insane. Where these people were legally allowed to enter the country to work. But they're not documented, or they're not, I guess they would be documented, but the word documented there is interesting. But because they don't have like a green card or a visa or citizenship, well, you're not allowed to be here anymore, which is an insane policy.
Praises President Trump for keeping his campaign promise on deportations.
America needs to take care of the American people. I'm glad that Trump is in office implementing the law.
Meantime, Gabe, you have some new reporting about Mexico's role in all of this.
Yes, Lester, two U.S. defense officials tell NBC News that Mexico denied access to a U.S. military deportation plane on Thursday. As we mentioned, two planes landed in Guatemala today. Meanwhile, here in Newark, the mayor says that he expects more deportations over the next few days. Lester.
President Trump today touring damage and hearing from displaced residents in parts of North Carolina ravaged by Hurricane Helene 4 months ago.
I totally feel like that we have been forgotten.
The president, alongside the first lady, again complaining that FEMA's response has been too slow.
Unfortunately, our government failed you, but it wasn't the Trump government. It was a government run by Biden.
And floating a potentially dramatic move, eliminating FEMA entirely.
Red states are going to lose their shit if FEMA gets eliminated. Biden. It's actually like they're cooked. Red states will collapse between this and like moving education back to the states. Red states are like going to, outside of a few red states, because like I think that there's enough wealth at this point in, for example, like Texas or Florida, that they will be okay. But states like Alabama and Mississippi, like these states are fucked. And I think it's that conservatives don't understand or don't know that blue states subsidize red states hardcore. There's there was a chart that showed like how off of taxes, how much do you get from the state or from the federal government based on the state that you're in? I'm trying to see if I can find it. When I saw this shit, I actually couldn't believe what I saw. One sec. Dollar in, dollar out ratio for state is the amount of federal funding that a state receives compared to the amount that of taxes it pays to the federal government. Yes. I'm trying to see if I can find it. We'll play the video and then we'll continue when I try and when I find it. I should be able to find it. Is this bait? Is this a psyop? Is this like a bait chatter? This has to be a bait chatter, right? Then again, like liberals do type like this. Oh, fuck. Oh no, it's not fake. No, bro, wait, there's no way. You have to like have unfollowed, right? And then came back or something. There's no way you could have sent 189 messages in 23 minutes, right? That's not possible. Okay, yes. Okay, that's not. Well, you did send almost all of them like 2 days ago. What the hell? How did I not even see this chatter, dude? Red is the cursed color of the stream today, I guess. Some people in this chat are either closet Trump supporters or double haters who didn't vote. 9 million people who voted in 2020 didn't vote in 2024. Those people are complicit in Trump becoming president because they wanted to complain instead of do something. Kamala only needed 2.3 million votes more to win the popular vote. She got 75 million votes. Hashtag Black is beautiful. I can't tell. I really can't tell. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. The whole like shaming voters hasn't worked the last 5 times we've tried it, but try it next election. See if it works then. Personally, I place the blame in the candidate who had millions upon millions of dollars to spend in campaign financing and chose to ignore what voters wanted. Unfortunately, this strategy is not effective. This like shaming voters. Sorry, was it $1 billion? Did Kamala have $1 billion? $1 billion. She had $1 billion and she still couldn't fucking win because she refused to listen to what voters wanted. Out of the, I think it was 9 or 10 million people who voted for Biden but didn't vote for Kamala, 30% of those people listed, which would have been enough to get her the election, Gaza as being the reason that they refused to vote for her, that they refused to vote that election. Historically, we've tried the whole shitting on voters and just shaming them into voting, but it doesn't really work. You're welcome to keep trying this. I don't think it's going to work. But I guess you can keep going. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. If I was trying to lose weight and I just insisted on eating a tub of ice cream every day, and then like I blamed my scale, I would understand if everyone else around me called me really stupid. At some point, you have to recognize your strategy is not working. It didn't work this election. It barely worked during the Biden election. It didn't work during Hillary's election. It's lost many times. Maybe we should switch directions and hear me out. Try and do anything that the voters would want us to do. I know, pretty crazy, but a concept that we could consider. Just as a concept, all right? A suggestion, if you will, okay? Back to the video.
Entirely.
I think, frankly, FEMA's not good. FEMA's turned out to be a disaster. I think we're going to recommend that FEMA go away.
Instead, proposing the White House send disaster relief directly to states and give governors more control. But a president does not have the power to shut down FEMA and would need Congress to give him the authority to remake or get rid of any agency. FEMA's defenders argue the federal government supports states and has a breadth of expertise and resources to respond that most states do not have. A top Democrat tonight panning the proposal.
I mean, if there's one reason we're one nation under God, it's to deal with disasters. So no, we shouldn't get rid of it.
Meanwhile, the president just landing in L.A. to visit the wildfire zone there, greeted by Governor Gavin Newsom.
Gruesome Newsom, yes, gruesome Newsom.
On the tarmac.
This is such a bizarre talking point, sir. First, you don't want to respond to the chart. Now you're just throwing random shit on the wall. Keep pushing men and women's sports. I'm sure you'll win the next one. Kamala never even tried to push for anything like that. Biden never tried to push for anything like that. You're just making stuff up because you saw a random person on the internet say something, so you assumed it was the strategy of Kamala Harris, even though she never said that, ever. January 2021 executive order, Biden did. Wait, but Biden won the election. Kamala lost. Kamala didn't push for anything like that. Hmm?
After repeatedly attacking California's Democratic leaders over the state's response to the disaster, and hours after detailing a pair of demands before he will offer more federal aid to the state.
I want to see two things in Los Angeles: voter ID, so that the people have a chance to vote, and I want to see the water be released and come down into Los Angeles and throughout the state.
Release the water, Newsom.
Newsom's office says other states don't require voter ID, and California pumps as much water now as it could under Trump's first-term policies, writing, "Conditioning aid for American citizens is wrong."
If you actually believe that Newsom just needs to release the water, it's clear evidence you've never been to LA or seen the LA River. There's no water, guys. There's no water. The LA River is like someone threw a bucket of water on some concrete. And I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, you're just being sarcastic. No, you're exaggerating. There's no way the LA River is going to look like that. Let me show you guys a photo. This is a generous photo of the LA River. Do you know what it was like coming from New York, like the Hudson River, to this? Wow, it must have rained hard that day. No, stop. You're so out of pocket, bro. You're so out of pocket. It's crazy. I'm dead, bro. Stop. 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 All right.
All of it with a final Senate confirmation vote expected tonight on Pentagon pick Pete Hegseth. Earlier, an NBC News review of records from Hegseth's divorce from his second wife, Samantha, includes a court-ordered agreement precluding either of them from saying anything publicly that would disparage the other. Since her ex-husband's nomination, Samantha has commented publicly about him only once in response to a request from NBC News for comment on an affidavit by his former sister-in-law, Danielle Hegseth. Samantha told NBC News, "There was no physical abuse in my marriage."
And Peter, let's turn back to FEMA for a moment. The president is moving forward with his plan to eventually overhaul it.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Lester. A White House official tells me tonight that the president is signing an executive order that will establish a task force to review and provide some of its suggestions to Donald Trump about what to do with the Emergency Management Agency.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social.
Boo, I want Brian Kilmeade. Boo. All right. Right. I was looking for this thing. I just stopped looking for it. Here it is. I found it, chat. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. States most and least dependent on the federal government. States are ranked according to the amount of federal tax dollars paid by the state per every dollar of federal support received. Hover over each state for more detail. So, for example, here's how it's explained. States most dependent on federal government. New Mexico, at number 1, it pays an inexpensive 85 cents to the federal government for every dollar of support received. Versus something like California, where for every dollar California receives from the federal government, California pays out $5. Alaska is also another one that's pretty brutal. This might have, I don't know how old this is. This might have changed. Alaska, I remember, used to be even more brutal because it's difficult to get things there since they're kind of out of the way. So most states, when you're delivering aid, transportation is not as big of a problem. But for Alaska, transportation kind of does take a toll on, or does increase the costs of delivering aid there. But yeah, you can see here a lot of the blue states end up paying significantly more than they end up taking. And as you can see here, red states are the dark green ones. You can see, for example, New York pays $3.94 for every dollar they receive. Or Washington pays $5.68 for every dollar they receive. Red states, which don't have a lot of industry and don't have a lot of profit generation, tend to need more support. Of course, like I said, with a few exceptions, Florida, for example, especially being a coastal city, having a lot of immigration labor, which might end soon, does get to generate a lot of revenue for the state, or sorry, for the federal government. Or even something like Texas, right? But you can see the Bible Belt, like, it's not great. Or even something like Montana or Wyoming, like, not great. Also, yeah, not to mention the fact that Florida has major tourism and recreation industry. I mean, Disney probably is making half of this money. But there are sights to see in these areas, right? So it's easier to generate some revenue for the state. Whereas something like Mississippi, I don't know what people are going to Mississippi for. I'm not going to Mississippi. I've never had the thought I want to go to Mississippi. I couldn't even tell you anything that's in Mississippi other than the river, which I don't really care that much about seeing. Right? New Mexico also has a massive percent of people working for the Fed's second largest employer's ex-Manhattan Project National Lab. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. One sec. The other thing I wanted to share with you guys, I'm going to get up and grab some more water. But before I grab some more water, I wanted to share with all of you this video from 7 years ago from Al Jazeera. Remember, 7 years ago. What will U.S. farmers do without immigration?
More than just a way of life. It's the state's #1 industry, and until recent years relied heavily on immigrant workers. But 6 years ago, Alabama introduced the country's harshest anti-illegal immigration law, and undocumented workers left in droves.
They really didn't like it, especially the ones that had a big crop in the field and they lost all their workers.
Third-generation farmer Scott Benton says the effect on farming was devastating.
Pretty bad that year. Like I said, a lot of people left, and all the workers left, and people were, you know, already had the crops out there ready to harvest, so they didn't have anybody to pick them. So a lot of farms lost their whole crop and went out of business because they lost all their money.
The wide sweeping law made it illegal to hire or house undocumented workers, and even Hispanic school children were targeted by the authorities. Aware of the need for agricultural workers, Jerry Spencer turned to unemployed Americans, but says after 2 weeks, most couldn't cope.
The farmer says, start over here and end over here. And that was the extent of their instructions. With the American worker.
To bring a little bit of levity really quickly, I just want to say, I like that the word cope has been ruined forever. And it used to mean something a little bit more serious. But now when you hear someone say, the farmers couldn't cope, it's like,
they all had to be taught all this and separate. And in addition to the fact that their bodies just were not built for it.
Within weeks of being enacted, the law faced legal challenges from the federal government and local businesses, who say it cost Alabama billions in lost income and tax.
Pretty sure that guy was calling Americans fat. Which, like, Alabama, isn't Alabama like the fattest state? Doesn't Alabama have the highest rate of, like, obesity?
Some of the
He was just trying to think of a nice way to say, built for it.
thousands of Latinos who fled the state
Second
have
to
begun to
Mississippi.
return.
My apologies, you're right.
There you go. You have a blessed day, okay?
All right.
But for many business owners, the law has left a bitter taste.
You have to have a plan set up for that to take place. It's no different than the bills, healthcare bill and stuff like that. Nothing can be replaced unless you really have a long set up process for the next thing to take hold. You can't just say, hey, I'm going to get rid of these people and then look at the farmers that are left without workers.
For a brief period, Alabama's anti-immigration law was the harshest and most far-reaching in the country. But even here, in a state that President Trump won easily, it proved deeply unpopular. In the 6 years since this law was put into place, it's become fairly clear that agriculture, businesses and even church services have been impacted. So if there is a lesson to be learnt here in Alabama, it's that these kinds of laws aren't just hard to put into place, they're also hard to enforce without affecting the wider community. Andy Gallagher, Al Jazeera, Clanton, Alabama.
This is from 7 years ago. Sorry, I'm having some chopped salad. This is 7 years ago. And the conservatives of this country saw this, and you know what they said?
Oh my God, I will vote. I will vote for Donald Trump. Oh my God, I will vote. I will vote. I will vote for Donald Trump. The people go out to vote, no fear, no more. No more. Vote for Trump. Let's go. Vote for Trump. If you wanna keep America great, vote for Trump. Let's do it. I vote for Trump. Come on. Oh my God, I will vote. I will vote. Oh yeah, for Donald Trump. Oh my.
Guys, I bullied the lib so hard he left. He unfollowed and left. suggested Kamala should have had an actual strategy, and it made him pissed. All I want is the truth,
because we love our country. We love it just like you. The economy. For Trump. Life is good. For Trump. Because we love our country. We love it just like you. Oh my God, I will vote. I will vote for Donald Trump. Oh my God, I will vote. I will vote for Donald Trump. I know my daughter. If you feel proud to be American, raise your hand. God bless America. If you feel proud to be American, raise your hand. God bless America. Oh my God, I will vote. I will vote for Donald Trump. Let's go. Oh my God, I will vote. I will vote for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. I love my freedom. I will vote for Donald Trump. Everybody to the right. I already chose my side. I will vote for Donald Trump. Let's go. Land of the free, home of the brave. I will vote for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump.
I don't think a lot of the people in this B-roll voted for Trump. No, they definitely all voted. How is this shit real? Because conservative vote based on aesthetics, and they always have. They're actually very similar to liberals in that way. It's a vibes-based thing. It's always been a vibes-based thing. Right? Always has and always will be. I mean, like, they just... I feel bad because, like, a lot of conservatives just... They genuinely don't know. That they're getting fleeced by the Republican Party. Like, I don't even know how you can vote for a guy like Trump when he said, let me find the... I'm starting... I can't find this. Well, sorry, I was looking for one particular thing and I wanted to find the source on it, but I'm struggling to find the source on it. So I'll just say, I don't know how you can vote for Trump after the countless things that he said. I can't believe anyone votes for the guy who's like, yeah, I'm going to make groceries cheaper, enacts policies that objectively will make groceries more expensive. I'm gonna do stuff that will benefit the average working man. Immediately tax cuts for like billionaires. Like I don't. Let's watch the legal video, shall we?
Reporting on President Trump's flurry of executive orders from his first day in office. Birthright citizenship, trans rights, TikTok, you name it. But few sources are digging into whether Trump can actually do any of the things that he's trying to do by executive order. So I guess we're gonna do it. Now, executive orders are official documents through which the President of the United States manages the operations of the federal government. The Constitution does not directly address executive orders, and no federal statute explicitly authorizes them. However, they are accepted as part of a president's inherent powers regarding the executive branch. A president can issue executive orders to direct the executive branch, enforce existing laws, or manage national emergencies, provided the president acts within their constitutional or statutory authority. Executive orders do not need congressional approval and cannot be directly overturned by lawmakers. But an executive order cannot contradict congressionally passed laws or contradict the Constitution. Executive orders have become more common over time, in part because congressional gridlock has made passing laws more difficult. Traditionally, the party that is not in the White House complains about the abuse of executive orders, and then once they get into the White House, they do even more via executive order than the previous administration. But actions taken pursuant to these orders are subject to judicial oversight, and you can bet that many of Trump's orders will be contested in court, just like they were during his first term. So let's dig into these executive orders. In one, Trump declared a national emergency on the U.S.-Mexico border. In another order, Trump declared, quote, the current situation at the southern border qualifies as an invasion. The order suspends, quote, the physical entry of aliens involved in an invasion into the United States across the southern border until I determine that the invasion has concluded. Now, can the president do this? Well, the Immigration and Nationality Act outlines the legal framework for individuals who seek protection in the U.S. because they fear persecution in their home country. And the president might not be permitted to suspend physical entry of asylum seekers into the United States, and he may not be authorized to stop asylum seekers who are already in the United States from getting a hearing. Section 2.
It's really sad because, like, I'm going to say something embarrassing, Chad. I used to have a lot of respect for the law. Like, not like cops who enforce it, but actual justices, especially Supreme Court justices. And after Trump's last term, when we got a 5-4, no, it was a 6-3, right? When we had a 6-3 Supreme Court, it was like, that's when I checked out. That's when I was like they have terms for life, and there's no way that anyone is going to be competent enough to get that changed. So these conservative justices are just going to be in power until they fucking die. Like, we pretty much have confirmation that Clarence Thomas has been bribed, and he's still sitting in his appointed seat. Like, that's when I was like, oh, it's Jover. It's actually, like, I don't even know what to say, because there was a thing, and like maybe some people in here will disagree, but I think that there was a time where traditional conservatives, especially traditional conservative justices, they still believed in attempting to uphold the true meaning of, like, the Constitution. And they didn't just vote in a partisan manner, or they didn't just rule in a partisan manner. And there was a period of time, I mean, Romney era, yeah, where there was like, no, actually, I am voting against this, or I'm ruling against this because, or I'm dissenting right now because I just don't think that this is within the parameters of the Constitution. And at this point, it doesn't exist at all. It's just like, how can we interpret this to be whatever we want? And that's it. That period of time is a myth. It was never like that. I mean, you can disagree with me. Please, I implore you to go and read some of the dissenting statements from even, like, Scalia. Don't get me wrong. It was always political. It was always political. They would always try, if they could, to vote or to rule as partisan as they can. But they still tried to do it only when it made sense to do it. When it was very clearly like, oh, no. There's no way for us to rule in this way. Like, they had their own values because they weren't getting actively bribed. Now that they're just brazenly bribing SCOTUS, they don't even care anymore. They're not, what's the point? Like they can do it in broad daylight. Why do they care about being sneaky about it? Or why do they care about picking and choosing their battles? Like at this point, it doesn't matter. Like they could just, their dissenting statement could be, you suck, I'm cool, you're dumb, I'm not. And it doesn't matter. Like it literally, get wrecked, loser. And there's no consequences. No. Yep. Mm-hmm. So like, yeah, once the Supreme Court in my mind fell, I was like, it's Joe, like it's been Jover. It's been Jover.
212F of the INA allows the president to restrict or suspend entry of non-citizens or groups of non-citizens into the United States if their entry is determined to be detrimental to the interests of the United States. Trump has dubiously asserted that immigrants are passing.
What is this? I will allow it.
Jeff Bezos came, Bill Gates came, Zuckerberg came, many of them came numerous times, Everybody's coming.
Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Do not come.
Do not come. Do not come. Link, I got you, dog. Cinema. All right. I'm sorry, what is this? Breaking per source with knowledge, the Trump admin plans to retaliate against the Colombian president's decision to reject 2 deportation flights by closing the U.S. Embassy Colombia's visa section tomorrow, where 1,500 appointments had been scheduled. I'm told an additional retaliatory measures will be rolled out soon. And he writes on Truth Social, I was just informed that 2 repatriation flights from the United States with a large number of illegal criminals were not allowed to land in Colombia. This order was given by Colombia's socialist president, Gustavo Petro, who is already very unpopular among his people. Since when has Colombia been social? Are you sure? Oh, okay, sure. Why not, dude? Anyone you don't like, they're clearly a socialist. Okay, all right. Just call them communist at that point. Christ. Jesus. Petro's denial of these flights has jeopardized the national security and public safety of the United States. So I've directed my administration to immediately take the following urgent and decisive retaliatory measures. Uh-oh. Emergency 25% tariffs on all goods coming into the United States. In 1 week, the 25% tariffs will be raised to 50%. A travel ban and immediate visa revocations on the Colombian government officials and all allies and supporters. Visa sanctions on all party members, family members, and supporters of the Colombian government. Enhanced customs and border protection inspections of all Colombian national and cargo on national security grounds. Well, goodbye bananas, goodbye coffee. Luckily I don't actually drink that much coffee. IEPA, Treasury, banking, and financial sanctions to be fully imposed. These measures are just the beginning. We will not allow the Colombian government to violate its legal obligations with regard to the acceptance and return of the criminals they forced into the United States. Okay, good. This is good, right, guys? These are the people, by the way, trying to get into the country legally. Closing the U.S. Embassy Colombia's visa section. These are the people trying to get in legally, by the way. Literally the opposite of criminals. Guys, the free American market will pick up the slack and suddenly farm bananas and coffee. You don't get it. Yeah, we definitely have the perfect temperature for bananas and coffee. Famously.
Through countries with communicable diseases, and that one reason they are detrimental is to the health and national security of Americans, but this determination might have exceeded his authority. To deal with this alleged invasion, Trump asked the Secretary of State to designate specific international groups, including Tren de Aragua and MS-13, as foreign terrorist organizations. It says, quote, within 14 days of the date of this order, the Secretary of State shall take all appropriate action in consultation with the Secretary of the Treasury, the Attorney General, and the Secretary of Homeland Security and the Director of National Intelligence to make a recommendation regarding the designation of any cartel. Can he do that? Probably. The authority to designate a group as a foreign terrorist organization is delegated to the Secretary of State by the Anti-Terrorism and Effective Death Penalty Act of 1996. So the president may direct the Secretary of State to review certain groups for potential designation, but the formal authority lies with the Secretary. Trump also announced plans to invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to take action against these groups, but that act only applies to people who are nationals of countries the U.S. is at war with or where there is a declared hostility. Trump ordered the government to halt the admission of refugees and cites situations in places like Springfield, Ohio, and Charleroi, Wisconsin, where large numbers of refugees settled. You might recall some of the complete fabricated lies about immigrants eating pets. Trump says his authority to suspend the U.S. refugee admissions program stems from his Section 212F powers. But Trump ordered the Secretary of State and others to designate cartels and gangs as foreign terrorist organizations. And he ostensibly gave the military more power to, quote, protect the territorial integrity of the United States and seal the borders. Trump directed the Attorney General to seek the death penalty for capital crimes committed by immigrants without legal status. And in another order, Trump rescinded former President Biden's administrative executive orders and ordered the Attorney General and the Secretary of Homeland Security to, quote, evaluate and undertake any lawful actions to ensure that so-called sanctuary jurisdictions are ineffective. He also ordered the director of OMB to deny public benefits to illegal aliens who are not eligible for it. And the president is certainly within his authority to rescind former President Biden's orders and take lawful actions to limit the authority of sanctuary cities and states within the law. Trump also signed an order resuming building of the wall, suspending the CNHV parole program, which enabled Haitians, Venezuelans, Cubans, and Nicaraguans to settle temporarily in the United States. And the government must also stop allowing non-citizens in Mexico to make appointments to present asylum claims. Some of these new restrictions are probably within the president's powers.
I appreciate all you do. Enjoy some good old oligarchy dollars.
Yay, Bezos bucks. Thank you, Amateur. Thank you for the 9 months of Prime. They're not illegal aliens, they're fucking people. As a Colombian American, I want to laugh at this, but this shit is disturbing. It was already nearly impossible getting a visa approved for family in Colombia. I feel more strict than other nations asking for visas. I mean, like, anyone who's spoken to either immigration lawyers or people who are actively trying to immigrate to the United States legally, you know that getting a visa or getting legal access into the United States is already nigh impossible. Like, if you have to wait years, and even after years, you may never get a visa. What Trump effectively is saying is no more immigration, period. Sorry, from the South. Let's just be real for a second. You're allowed to immigrate if you're coming from a European country. Just no more immigration, period, if you are south of the border. My whole family's in the United States and I'm not. I can't visit them till my immigration is processed. And I imagine the process is going to be, first of all, it already is unbelievably long. And appointments can be months out. I mean, even just like anyone here who has spoken to someone who's gotten married to like a Canadian or to some other non-American, even just getting your citizenship or getting papers filed through marriage, just citizenship through marriage, which is one of the easiest ways to get citizenship, still takes years. countless visits to countless courts, to countless DMVs, countless instances of verifying your identity and verifying your existence and going just over and over again. And each appointment is like months in advance. It's like, okay, well, you can come again and check in 3 months from now. Oh, you forgot one document? Okay, another 9 months. My spouse and I are doing this, and he spent at least $9,000 in the moment. It's not only is it expensive, it also is unbelievably time consuming. My girlfriend from Colombia my girlfriend from Colombia, her best friend has tried to get a travel visa for years now and spent more than $7,000 just to get even to travel here to visit. It's insane. Yes. Henri, thank you for the 12 months. It's have you ever seen Brazil? I've actually never been to South America. I really want to go, but I just haven't. I'm American. My wife is Mexican. It took us years just to get permanent residency. You have to have a lot of money to interview for interview appointments and medical exams. It is taking my mother-in-law from Peru 2 years so far, and it all depends on if the agent is nice or not. Yeah, a lot of it also depends on whether or not like the particular agent you get assigned or the particular interviewer you get assigned just likes you or not. Because if they don't like you, they can just delay the process for you as much as they want. Adjudication process. Diva Zoo, thank you for the prime. Thank you. And there's a lot of luck. There's a lot of money and a lot of time. And that's my understanding of it is mediocre at best. But just from the friends that I've spoken to who have gotten married to someone outside of the country, they've told me how much time it has taken them to get any of these documents and how many fucking interviews they've had to go to and how much money they've had to spend. And that's still difficult. Trying to get citizenship here when you don't know anyone here is basically impossible. Or trying to even just like get a visa here to come to the United States is like next to impossible.
But it's hard to say how each of these will play out. The language in the executive order is not specific enough to tell us exactly what Trump will do and how he will do it.
Benign Burger, oh my God, thank you for the 20 gift sub. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's really, really nice of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. That's really generous. Thank you. And then to renounce citizenship, they still milk like $2,300 from you? Yes. I will see if we have the time for that, Crazy Fist. I want to highlight two other things really quickly as well. Even Moist Critical has had issues bringing his esports team in for a tournament. Yeah, I mean, even streamers have had issues with citizenship in the United States. Like streamers who want to live in the United States because they are part of a content org, getting citizenship is like, or getting even just like a temporary visa is really difficult. And like, these are like people who get fucking 5,000-10,000 viewers who are streaming their entire lives. Like these people are not a security risk for the United States. Mostly because they're fucking streaming their entire life. They're literally not they're like, they're a risk to Twitch viewers, okay? But they're not a security risk to the state. Like they sit at home all day on their computers, engaging in mana-gem discourse, okay? They're very not dangerous for the majority of Americans. Very safe people to allow into your country. And getting visas is impossible. And the other really awful thing is, I've spoken to at least one content creator who was part of an org and they were trying to get a visa here and their fucking org was, they were not competent enough. They didn't hire a good enough lawyer. And their visa got declined and they were like, I'm technically here illegally because my org didn't file everything correctly. And if I leave without getting my visa, I will be considered a criminal and I will not be allowed to re-enter. So I really, really, really need to get my visa shit sorted out so that I can leave and come back whenever I want. And like, I'm not surprised if it's the same thing with esports teams. What about the other way? Do you think Americans will still be able to travel almost anywhere in a few years? Probably. I don't think that'll change because the thing is, other countries aren't stupid enough to think that, like, you have to halt all transportation, period. Otherwise, it's a security risk. I mean, it is. Anyways, yeah, my family came here legally 30 years ago. We had to literally win a lottery to get it, and like that is very rare. That's unbelievably rare. It took my brother 8 years to get a green card coming from Canada. Applied in 2012, granted in 2020. Which that's Canada. Like nobody in America is even afraid of Canadians. We don't fearmonger about Canadians. We talk about taking over Canada. That's how unafraid Americans are of Canadians. There's no fear at all. But we should be, because they keep fucking exporting dog shit conservative talk show hosts. I'm looking at you, Steven Crowder. I'm looking at you, Jordan Peterson. I'm looking at you, Lauren Southern. I think she's Canadian. No, is she? I think she's Canadian. Yeah, she's Canadian. They are exporting trash. We should be more concerned. Lauren Chen, another Canadian. Ted Cruz, another Canadian. Drake, Stephen Molyneux. We should be more concerned. They are not sending their best. Okay? Nickelback? Okay, Nickelback, like, I feel, listen, we can have our issues with Nickelback, but he doesn't belong in the same group. He doesn't belong in the same group as the other people. Just be real. That's too far, even for Nickelback. Come on. This, Tom McDonald. Oh my God, dude. My friend who's Canadian has been here since high school and got his green card as a child, is now in his late 30s, married to a U.S. citizen, a father of 3 U.S. citizens, and still not a citizen. His parents and siblings became citizens before he was even before he has been able to. And like I said, a lot of it is luck. A lot of it has to do with whoever you're assigned. A lot of it has to do with how often you get to have these appointments. Like some people go years waiting for fucking appointments. God forbid you have like some medical emergency on the day of your fucking appointment that you waited 3 months for. Guess you're gonna have to wait another 6 months. Like it's really brutal, right? Last time my friend applied for citizenship, they denied him, said he can't reapply for another 10 years. We're sending those clowns to y'all because we don't want them. That's messed up, man. Let's just take our trash and move it somewhere else. I work in tech. Used to be located in Austin, Texas before I moved to Washington. I'm Puerto Rican. The amount of Mexican friends that were begging me to marry their sister or somebody in their family just to get citizenship with, so heartbreaking. Yeah. Just because, like, you can be the best citizen. You can be the best immigrant. You can do all of the hard labor. You can work 12 hours a day, every day. You can never take a sick day off. You can be the nicest neighbor. You can integrate into the culture. You can learn the language. You can do everything right. But guess what? You can go fuck yourself. Oh my God, dude, these chatters are I wish I could believe in a world that was so simple. Just don't come over if if it isn't legal. Is that hard? Try another country if you care so much about leaving. Your house got flooded? Just sell it, idiot. You're poor? Just make more money, stupid. Dying of cancer? Just don't die of cancer. Homeless? Did you consider getting a home? It's like, it shows a very particular mindset of like the average, I think, American, because a lot of Americans think this, and it's just they want to believe in a world that is this simple. Because it makes you happy. It's like the world is easy and simple, and you can just move when you want to move, and you don't have to move if you don't want to move. But like, one, we're not even talking about what you're talking about. We're talking about people who are trying to move legally and are getting deported anyways. We're talking about reports of Navajo people being detained in immigration sweeps. We're talking about the financial consequences to Americans who are deporting the people doing all of our labor. We're talking about things greater than just, you don't want to be here, just don't be here. You don't like to drink water, don't drink water. We're talking about concepts that are a little bit more complex. Who came in illegally, right? I don't know. You know, this isn't a counter to any of the examples I brought up. It's not a counter to the Navajo people, you know, the indigenous people who were here before we colonized the United States. It's not a counter argument to the people who are trying to come here legally and are being told to go fuck themselves, which is what I brought up with the Colombians who were waiting on U.S. Embassy interviews, and then the U.S. Embassy closed. We're talking about people who are trying to do it the way you want them to do it, who are objectively benefiting our country, and are still being told to go fuck themselves for some bizarre reason. If you don't want them here legally, then don't attempt to come illegally. Just don't come to the USA as you've been told, no? This is a bot. Okay, this is a bot. This is a bot, guys. There's no way I've just talked about people trying to enter legally and you're typing this. You have to be a bot. You have to be. Or you just like, your parents dropped you too often, or you ate too many lead chips, or your favorite hobby is hitting yourself in the head with a hammer. But I think bot is the least offensive, so you have to be a bot. That's like there's just no way. I don't understand. It has to be. There's just no way. I can't. 2 words, leaded gasoline. Karl is fashion. Thank you for the tier 1. Thank you. Whew. Oof. Don't know about a bot, just someone who has one thought, refuses to have more. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's just, the problem is I engage because I'm like, there's no way that anyone could possibly be explained a concept and continue to keep going on that line of reasoning, right? Like in my head, I'm like, if I do the Patrick wallet meme, they'll tell me it's their wallet eventually, right? And it never happens. I'm always like, no, it's gonna happen this time. And it never happens. Like it's this one. It's this one. It's this one over and over and over again. Aren't you Patrick Starr? Yeah. And this is your ID? Yeah. And I found this ID in this wallet, so this must be your wallet. Makes sense. So then take it. Well, it's not my wallet. Tough, man. Tough to be that
chips?
guy.
You mean wall candy?
Wall candy.
And it's likely that he will continue to sign new orders in this area, which will give us more clarity on what he can and cannot do. And the ACLU has already filed suit over the refugee policies. And as predicted, Trump has attacked birthright citizenship. As Liz Dye explained in our previous video, birthright citizenship is a cornerstone of constitutional law and has been reaffirmed in legal decisions for 150 years. Trump's order ostensibly declares that a child born in the United States is not a citizen if, at the time of birth, their mother is either unlawfully present in the United States or their mother's presence in the United States was lawful but temporary, and their father was not a U.S. citizen or lawful.
This marker noise is so distracting. Is that just me? Is that just my ADHD? The marker noise is like brutal.
Lawful permanent resident. It applies to children lawful but temporary, and their father was not a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident. It applies to
It sounds kind of like items being thrown into lava in Minecraft. Yeah. I noticed it in this video. I don't remember ever noticing it in this other videos. It really bothered me this time. Can of whipped cream. I thought you were vaping into the mic. I would never vape, okay? If I'm gonna ruin my lungs, all right? If I'm gonna inhale some type of vapor or smoke, I'm gonna smoke a cigarette. Okay, I'm gonna do it in a way that makes me look cool. All right?
children born after 30 days from the date of the order, and the order is broader than expected, ostensibly covering children of undocumented immigrants and also those born to foreign nationals who are legally in the country on visas. Now, the interpretation of the 14th Amendment on which...
Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry, I have to do this one more time. Last time and we're done, okay? Last time and we're done. Last one, okay? Of course, I'm not from America, LOL. It's that one on its own. It's mwah. But also, I would be upset and angry if people who are in the U.S. legally are being deported, but that's not the case. Did you not see the article that I put on the screen? These are people who have been here their whole lives, and their parents have been here their whole lives, and their parents, 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 and they're being detained. Do you just not, okay, so do you not, you either don't know what Navajo means, or these people are too brown for you to understand. I would assume it has to be one of those. Benign Burger, what the fuck? Thank you for the 20 gift subs. Thank you. Contraman, thank you for the 10 gift subs. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thanks. Oh, shit. Hype Train? Pog? Pog? Let's go, Pog? Golden Kappa Pog?
Gold Kappa Pod.
Okay, then that's wrong. No, I'm pretty black and white. If I see something wrong, I say it's wrong. If someone is good, I'd say it's good.
Drink some Wawa.
What's your favorite video game, man? What's your favorite video game? You're on Twitch. You have to play video games. What's your favorite video game?
Oh my God. I will vote for Donald Trump.
Really? Why would that matter? Come on. Humor me just this once. Please. I'm begging you. I'm genuinely curious. Wormworld? No! 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 I'm actually right now, I am Walter White dropping on the floor, dude. I'm Walter White dropping on the fucking floor. This is me right now. Because I was gonna say, I need to know what insult to use on other chatters that type like you. So I can be like, you sound like, you know, you type like you play X game. And I was just gonna use your game. But then you picked a game that's fun. But that makes the fact that you like that game makes me a total fucking loser. I'm as big of a loser as you are now. Thanks a lot, asshole. How could you do this to me? How could you do this to me? Contradiction, right? Do you know what the word contradiction means? It's not a contradiction to like a good game and have stupid opinions. What the hell's wrong with you? You never heard broken clock is still right twice a day? Having correct political opinions has nothing to do with enjoying good video games. Dumbass. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm still just reeling over the fact that I like the same game as this fool. This buffoon. The thing is, if you asked me about certain policies, I'm pretty sure we would agree on everything. We don't agree on the most important thing, which is being a fun person to hang out with, okay? That's what matters more than anything else, all right? And you are like, you're level 1 goon. You need to be level 99 boss, man, all right? And you're not there. You're not there, man. Anyways. It's Bootsy, sorry. Boosty, thank you for the 4 months. Scotty, thank you for the 25 months. Haley, thank you for the 2 months. Stone Corbell, thank you for the gift sub. Isla, thank you for the prime. Totally not a bot, thank you for the gift sub. Noobster, thank you for the 23 months. Thank you guys. And Benign, thank you for the gift sub to Jane Z. Thank you for the 5 gift sub. Garganimal, thank you for the 10. Hobby, thank you for the gift sub. Paradox, thank you for the 10 months. Neural, thank you for the 6 months. I don't know if I said thank you to Contra. Yeah, I said thank you, but thank you again for the 10. Time Killer, thank you for the prime. Cab Galloway, thank you for the 2 years. Damn. I don't know how to pronounce this, and I'm going to... there's a lot of words in here that are not in English. And I'm in a marabou, okay? I'm a marabou. Ma, thank you for the 6 months. Or Pixel, thank you for the 2 months. Afro, thank you for the gift sub. Thank you, guys. Thanks. Oh, Christ. All right. Anyways. Nah, you're cool, Ordinary Tom. You're cool. You just need to learn how to, like... You just need to have Riz, okay? You're kind of, like, just a square is all. Which, to be fair, your name is Ordinary Tom, so, like... Username checks out, I guess. But you just need to learn Riz. You can stay. You're chill, though. You're chill. Maybe a little annoying, but you're good, man. You're good. You're no MySpace Tom. You're just Ordinary Tom. I get it.
DNML.
I understand. Spade, thank you for the 17. And Horlas, thank you so much for the 2 months. Thanks. You're shitting on them for being on brand. Honestly, you should cancel me. Yeah. You should cancel me. Yeah. True, dude. True. Cyclops, thank you for the gift sub. You know what, Ordinary Tom? You sound like a guy. Last one. You sound like a guy who plays Balatro. Honestly, you're kind of growing on me. Honestly, I love Ordinary Tom. Actually, wait. I'm changing my opinion. Okay, I'm changing my opinion. All right. Actually, you're great. You're doing well. You're doing well. I'm doing a 180. I'm doing a 180, dude. This is me watching Arcane. First season, dog water, dog shit. Hated it. Season 2, I was like, actually, the show's pretty good. Yeah, it's time to mod him. Okay, I'm done. No, I actually really like normies. I realize someone's a normie, and I'm like, actually, it's fine. LOL Mighty, thank you for the 7 months. Benign, thank you for the gift sub. Dragon Army, thank you for the gift sub. Whoa. LOL Mighty, thank you for the 7 months. Just Clown Biz, thank you. Marianne, thank you for the 37. All right, I think that's everyone. All right. Let's try and finish this. Okay, I'm not going to get into it, but really quickly, Arcane Season 1, the reason why I thought it was bad was because I didn't grow to like the characters yet. And after watching the episode where we see the good world, the good end, where the universe where Jinx doesn't become evil or whatever, I was like, actually, I care about this universe now. But the first season kind of assumes you have to care about the characters before even learning anything about them, which I didn't like. All right, moving on. Let's finish this video.
This executive order relies is not reflected in current law or legal precedent, and therefore it's very likely the courts will strike it down. As we've covered in other videos, the 14th Amendment says that birthright citizenship applies unless you are not bound by the laws of the United States. And I think even the Trump administration wants immigrants and tourists to be bound by the laws of the United States when they are in this country. Or he just created the purge. I don't know. Maybe that's what he wants too. And lawyers are not going to give up on bedrock constitutional rights without a fight. And the ACLU and at least 18 states have filed lawsuits to enjoin this order. Then there's TikTok. We've finally seen the TikTok order, and it raises more questions than answers.
I did see that people are having their comments deleted for saying Free Palestine. So TikTok isn't going anywhere. It's here to stay. Excuse me. Ivan, thank you for the 3 months. Totally not a bot. Thank you for the gift of Sisyphus. I don't know what conversation Trump or whoever had with the CEO, but I think it's not going to go anywhere anymore.
The order instructs...
I don't even know if that's true, though, because I've been posting Free Palestine on multiple posts, including my own, and they're still there. Interesting.
The Attorney General not to take any action under the law for 75 days. And this extension is meant to give ByteDance, TikTok's Chinese parent company, additional time to negotiate a sale of its U.S. assets. The order directs the Department of Justice to promise app stores the government won't fine them if they offer TikTok to new users. Quote, during this period, the Department of Justice shall take no action to enforce the act or impose any penalties against any entity for any non-compliance with the act. But as we talked about last week, the Supreme Court upheld the constitutionality of the TikTok ban statute. And the act says that the president may extend the ban deadline by 90 days, but only if a sale is in progress. ByteDance has insisted it will not sell TikTok, and no sale is in progress. And an executive order does not suspend a statute that was passed by Congress. Republican Senators Tom Cotton and Pete Ricketts insisted, quote, there is no legal basis for any kind of extension of its effective date. And Senator Cotton said, quote, nothing in the order changes the legal scheme, and the companies, quote, face hundreds of billions of dollars of ruinous liability under the law. The AG may follow Trump's directive, but nothing in the order prevents future administrations from fining companies who violated the law. And of note, Apple has still not made the app available for download by new users. And when he signed the order, Trump made a lot of wild statements about TikTok, an app he once tried to ban. And as we discussed in the video about the situation, the US government has serious concerns about TikTok's data collection practices. But Trump said that now he's seen TikTok, it's not that big of a deal. Quote, because I got to use it, and remember, TikTok is largely about kids, young kids. If China is going to get information about young kids out of it, to be honest, I think we have bigger problems than that. So great, the president doesn't care about those data issues now that he's cozied up to the CEO of TikTok. And now he just won't enforce the law. Now, we've expressed some skepticism about the legal basis for the TikTok ban, but at the same time, the precedent of just not enforcing a law that the Supreme Court says is valid is also super, super bad. But elsewhere, Trump signed an executive order establishing the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, and appointing Elon Musk as its leader. The order does not create a new department. Instead, it rebrands the U.S. Digital Service as the United States DOGE Service. Now, I know we have bigger fish to fry, but this to me might be the most offensive thing that happened on a grammatical level, shoving an acronym inside of an acronym. So yeah, I guess we all have to live with the United States Department of Government Efficiency Service. Wonderful. The order directs each federal agency to establish a...
Guys, I have family friends, for lack of better words, who are conservatives. And two things. One, I hang out with people based on how much fun they are to hang out with. It's why I generally don't have any liberal friends, because liberals are really fucking annoying. Two, I believe in trying to slowly educate people and push them into the right direction. And I think a lot of people who are conservatives because they don't realize there's a party outside of Democrats. Like, party isn't a group of people outside of Democrats. I think a lot of people who are Republicans, I don't know if I would call them the majority, but I think that there is a good swath of Republicans who don't understand that you don't have to be for Kamala to be against Trump. And I try to reach those people. And I think all of us have a responsibility to reach those people. I think it's not worth the headache to try and reach people who are unbelievably racist and actually think that, like, America's worse because there's less white people in it. Like, I think those, listen, if you've managed to de-radicalize those people, if you've managed to pull, what's that one movie called where, like, the skinhead goes to fucking prison or whatever? I don't fucking remember the name of the movie. X or something. If you've managed to, American History X. If you've managed to pull an American History X, kudos to you, man. Kudos to you. I know that those people can be saved. I've never been able to do it, and I just get frustrated. All right. However, I have had moderate success pushing friends into slightly more leftist directions, just simply by showing them, hey, this thing you think is happening is not happening. No, actually, canceling FEMA would hurt red states more than blue states. Here's all the data and information. I mean, you don't have to take it from me. Here you go. And I think once you do that enough, they tend to be less die-hard Republicans. And once they're not die-hard, once there's a good leftist candidate, like, for example, Bernie, they'll be pro-Bernie. They just don't want to vote Democrats. Right? So I try with those people, if anything, just to not let them get more right-wing. Right? Christ, I have a Muslim coworker that's pro-Trump and cheers on the deportations, and it boggles my mind. I don't understand those. Those people I don't understand at all. Those people have to be not savable. Moving on. Nobody wants to see data. We only want coke and hookers. Priority Hunter Biden on his alt account. You're pretty cool, Hunter. I'm gonna be honest, pretty dope. I really like that one video where you're measuring, like, the crack or whatever with your hired escort. And you're like, no, it's 21.8. And she's like, no, I'm pretty sure it was 22. No, it's not. And then you pan the camera. That was a great video. Moving on. I also, this is just me, this is my opinion, I think, and this makes me kind of sick, I like hanging out with conservatives more, not racist conservatives that think, like, Trump is going to fix the economy, those ones. Racist ones are just boring to hang out with because they're just weird. Because they're usually down to argue, whereas, like, liberals never want to argue. They're like, I just don't understand why we have to be talking about this way. I don't understand why we can't just be civil. And I'm like, ugh, boring, boo. So on a personal level, I also like to get into it and I like to argue. And conservatives, usually in my experience, like to argue also. You know, non-racist conservatives, I don't know any, I'm not friends with racist conservatives. I'm not friends with racist people. Racist people are fucking weird. Like they're literally weird. I'm not gonna be civil with some fucking creep, weirdo, Nazi fuck. But like, I am down to argue with someone who actually unironically thinks that Trump is good at trade. Where like their opinion is, oh yeah, I mean, women should, you know, have rights to their own body. Yeah. You know, no, I mean, I don't have any problem with migrants. I just don't like the criminals. Like those ones are so fun because their positions are based in nonsense. So you get to just argue with them and then watch their positions crumble and then watch them like deflect. And it's fun. It's fun. And in my experience, I've usually been able to get them to get pushed off of a few positions. I've successfully convinced sort of like centrist conservatives into accepting non-binary people. Over the course of years, I was able to do it. And they were like, one day they were like, you know what? I get it. I think I get it. They're not like a woman. And they're not like a man. Okay. Yeah, I guess I get it. I'm like, yes, it only took 2 years, but I fucking did it, yes. So I think it's worth the effort. I think it's worth the effort. How can you talk to someone who thinks Trump will fix anything? Well, if they think Trump will fix things, if you show them that he won't, the hope would be that they would be more embarrassed to say it until they're so embarrassed that they stop saying it. And once you're at that point, because it's very rare that they will like tell you that they feel wrong, but I don't push people to for them to admit to me and be like, I'm wrong. I send them the information. I'm like, you don't have to take it from me. Here you go. Feel free to look at it later. So they can do it on their own time. Because if I'm arguing with them in live time, they won't back down because there's ego. But the goal is just to send them so much stuff that one day they kind of just like, they realize, man, I really have not won a single argument. I really have been getting owned. A lot, actually. And actually, all these things I thought were problems actually are not really problems. Moving on. Hanging out with these conservatives, family friend conservatives. And what happened? Why did I bring up this fucking story? This chat's fault. No, why did I ADHD'd so hard. Fuck. Oh my God, I remember. So they told me that they bought Trump coin. And I was like, okay. But I know that they're like, when they say they bought it, they mean that they spent like a few $100 on Trump coin. All right. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I guess, sure. You know what? Sure, why not? And then they kept calling Dogecoin doggy coin. And it was so dope. It was so sick. And I tried to correct it once, and I guess they just like didn't hear me or didn't register. And they were like, yeah, we have doggy coin. I was like, I'm done. I'm good. I'm gonna leave it like this. This is funnier. This is funnier. Anyways, back to doggy. Back to the Department of Government Efficiency. Starman, thank you for the gifts up to doggy coins.
The Doge team, comprising of at least 4 members, including a team leader, an engineer, a human resources specialist, and an attorney. These teams are required to implement Doge's initiatives within their respective agencies. Now, to your burning question, does Trump have the authority to establish Doge? Yeah, probably. Creating an entirely new federal department typically requires legislative action by Congress. However, the president can issue executive orders reorganizing or renaming existing agencies. In this instance, Doge was formed by rebranding a pre-existing U.S. digital service. Though that might cause more problems than it solves, given that it completely changes the mission of the existing service. Now, obviously, if you're issuing hundreds of dubious executive orders, you'll want a good lawyer. But if you want a great lawyer, let my law firm, the Eagle Team, help.
Oh my, there's an ad in the middle of the... Sorry, I only trust Saul Goodman, okay? You have rights. That's the only lawyer I'd ever pay. Does he watch Legal Eagle? Just remember he told us that the Supreme Court would never give Trump immunity. I think Legal Eagle, so this is a common... Okay, I'm pretty sure Legal Eagle is a liberal, not a leftist. I could be mistaken. If anyone wants to... He's a liberal, yeah? Okay. Liberals have a lot of faith in the legal system. And I used to have faith in the legal system. And again, after the 6-3 SCOTUS appointments, I stopped having faith in it. I have faith in it in like potentially smaller courts with small like judges and stuff, the same way that I believe in engaging in like local politics, because local politics are important. But like the Supreme Court, once that was fucked, I was like, oh, yeah, our legal system, that's it. It's I think it's done, actually. I think our legal system might be over. And I'm not surprised at all that he feels this way. I had two types of law professors. You have to take like business law classes when you go to business school. And I had two types of law professors. I had law professors that genuinely believed that the legal system was perfect and could never be ruined, and that the Constitution was their Bible, essentially. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. It was their Bible. And it was infallible in their eyes. And then I had, like, the Marxist law professor that was like, well, anyways, we should make peyote legal. So, moving on. Oh, did I say fallible? If I said fallible, I meant infallible. And those were the only, it was like economists, like my economist professors, there was two. There was one that was like, and this is why we should eradicate the minimum wage. Because as you can see here from this little diagram that I have that assumes that all people are rational actors in our system, you actually end up with a surplus here. So we shouldn't have the minimum wage. And then I had the economists that were like, anyways, people are fucking dumb as shit sometimes when it comes to financial decisions because, you know, our brains weren't made to work around money as a concept. Also, I do teaching as a side job. What I actually do for work is like I help with city planning, and I help come up with like the calculations on where to put bus stops. How frequently should we have bus stops based on like an aggregate of data that we throw into a bunch of fucking calc equations. And that tells us probably we should have bus stops 3 blocks away from each other. That's what I do actually for work. This is kind of just for fun for me. Like, Econ 101 literally talks about people are not rational actors. Yeah, but there are like, you will run into economist professors or like even business professors who say that to you and then they like don't believe it. They think that like you can out-derivative people being irrational actors. It's very bizarre to me. It's like very, very weird. It was very jarring for me. Like I had an argument with a professor once and he like, argument as in I was like, but doesn't this suggest that this should be like this? But doesn't this suggest that if you increase the prices for inelastic goods, the market can never correctly regulate? And they were like, yeah, but it's fine. I'm like, what do you want? It's literally the text. What are you talking about? I mean, some professors are hacks. Let's just be real. It's like any profession, you will find people that are hacks, right? A hack here being someone who takes themselves way too fucking seriously and thinks that like everything should work the way that it's written on paper. Yeah. Moving on. I see you met the average economist. Yeah. Yes. What the hell was I talking about? Oh. Yeah, I remember. Legal is like, he reminds me of like my liberal law professors. And maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I don't know Legal personally. I don't think he's the bad guy. I think he's fine. I think he just makes content for a particular group of people. And I think he explains the like legal basis for things very well. I mean, he is a fucking lawyer. And he researches these videos pretty well, or like his team researches it pretty well. But his conclusions are, I almost want to call them like naive because he is a liberal. Right? But like being naive is not like the worst crime in the fucking world. Yeah. And I feel like over time he's become more and more left leaning, which is cool. Because I do think the thing that makes liberals turn into leftists is realizing that they are getting played by the Democrats, right? It's realizing that like behind the decorum there is nothing. And it's like, oh. Because, I mean, that's how it was for me. I just like, I felt like I just watched liberals throw elections after elections after elections and give nothing in return to the American people and constantly give concessions. And I was like, huh. Maybe these guys fucking suck. Maybe these guys suck. But anyway, let's go.
If you've gotten in a car crash, suffered a data breach, especially if you've got a data breach letter saying your information might have been leaked, or dealing with a workers' comp or social security issue, we can represent you or help find you the right attorney. Because it's so important to talk to a lawyer right away so we can maximize your recovery. And by the way, we don't get paid unless you do, so there's nothing up front. So just click on the link in the description or call the phone number on screen for a free consultation with my team. Because you don't just need a legal team, you need the legal team. Then there's criminal law. Trump signed a new executive order pushing the Department of Justice to expand its use of the federal death penalty. Under Biden, there was a moratorium on the federal death penalty, and under the new order, the DOJ must seek death as a punishment in all applicable.
I was muted. I frequently comment on Legal Eagle videos to ask him to please make a ridiculous Texas lawyer ad involving hammers. I wish he would do it, dude. I wish he would do a Better Call Saul, man. Fuck. Do you know that you have rights? Please.
Federal cases, and to help states get sufficient supplies for lethal injection drugs for executions. Trump also directs the Attorney General to, quote, seek the overruling of Supreme Court precedents that limit the authority of state and federal governments to impose capital punishment. This order could be referring to a number of Supreme Court decisions which limited application of the death penalty. The court has prohibited the death penalty for crimes where the victim did not die, and eliminates the death penalty for juveniles and limits execution of offenders with disabilities. And in answer to your question, why, yes, it does seem like an administration preparing to kill as many people as possible. Now, during Trump's first term, he ended a 17-year hiatus on the use of the federal death penalty, and Trump's administration carried out 13 executions during his last months in office. However, these requests generally fall within the president's power to influence how the DOJ...
It is still, like, insane, guys, that, like, people be like, yay, death penalty. Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like this?
It ain't pretty when you face a bad truck wreck. Greedy insurance companies play dirty. Bring it on.
My man, brother.
The Texas Hammer.
Go at them with Jim Adler, the tough, smart lawyer that knows how to beat them at their own game.
I stand tough and carry a big, big hammer. I thought so.
Call now, 713.
Dude, I'm so sad I don't live in Texas. I want to fucking see these ads on the fucking billboards, dude.
777-4000 or learn more at jimadler.com.
Best we got in LA is Veronica's Insurance. We just have Veronica's Insurance in LA. And it's just this lady and her dog. And they have like during the Barbie era, it was like she, I guess, got ads for like pink, like her in like a little pink car, and Veronica's Insurance, and the dog's always there. It's very exciting when I get to see the Veronica Insurance ads, but Jim Adler is way better. I'm going to be honest. They've been going on for years. I remember them from when I was growing up. I haven't lived in Texas for over a decade. Damn. I love Veronica's insurance. Oh, here it is. Veronica's the dog, right? I love Veronica's insurance, dude. All right.
.com.
Wrong video. Oops.
DOJ allocates resources and develops legal strategies. President Trump also wants the AG to determine whether these offenders can be charged with state capital crimes. And it's fine for the president to order a book report about whether they can be tried again in state court, but that's as far as the order goes. The president can't direct state prosecutions to charge his offenders with state crimes simply because he thinks they should get the death penalty. Trump has also withdrawn the U.S. from the Paris Climate Accord and the World Health Organization. Although the agreement was signed by the United States, the Senate never ratified it as a treaty. This distinction allows the president to unilaterally withdraw the U.S. from the agreement without requiring congressional approval. America joined the WHO through a joint resolution passed by Congress in 1948, which included a stipulation for withdrawal upon providing 1 year's notice. In 2020, President Trump initiated a withdrawal from the WHO. President Biden halted that in 2021, and there's no legal problem with Trump withdrawing from the WHO as long as he follows the notice requirements. President Trump signed orders to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of
Why do I'm sorry, I keep muting myself, my bad. China's strategy of do nothing and then win has really been working out alarmingly well. Embarrassingly well for the United States. The fact that Trump wants to pull out from the WHO and that China immediately afterwards said, we will triple, quadruple our support. Oh, fucking man.
of America and revert Alaska's Mount Denali to its former name, Mount McKinley. Can he do this? No and yes. The president's executive order directs federal agencies to use the new designation Gulf of America in official U.S. documents and communications. However, the change applies solely within the United States and does not have international jurisdiction. The International Hydrographic Organization, which standardizes maritime nomenclature worldwide, doesn't have to change.
Can you do a get ready with me? Denims, please consider this. Maybe I will. Maybe we'll do an alt account get ready with me. I want to do one, but like, I'm so nervous. Maybe we'll do one. Then I can show all of you guys my 4 skincare items. 4? 3. 3 skincare items. Maybe we'll do it on like a day that, like a no stream day. We can do that. 4 skincare items, correct. Yes. I will say I don't really have any interesting techniques or strategies. So
Change the name. Therefore, the other nations can still call it the Gulf of Mexico. In the United States,
you just said 4 skincare items. Did I fucking stutter? Quarantine Wolf, thank you for the gift sub. Sleazy, thank you for the 3 months. Strawman, thank you again for the gift sub. All right, dude, the Gulf of America thing is like, I feel the Minecraft like damage noise tick. Sorry, the damage tick sound effect in my brain thinking about switching it to the Gulf of America. It's just like, It's like the most pathetic thing. It's so, it's such loser behavior. It's like literally loser behavior. It's giving freedom fries. It's like, it's beta behavior. When you're the coolest person in the room, everyone else just wants to rename things around, like because of you or about you or on you or whatever. On you. Only losers are like, yeah, well, you have to name this, and I'm God King Supreme Emperor this. And it's like, oh my God, stop.
The naming of geographical features is primarily managed by the Board on Geographic Names, the BGN, established to maintain uniformity in place names across federal agencies. And in 2015, President Obama's Secretary of the Interior, Sally Jewell, used her authority to change the name of Mount McKinley to Denali, which Native Alaskans have called it for thousands of years. So Trump can legally change that name. The president has the authority to order or suggest the secretary change the place names. In changing the name back, Trump followed the same procedure that Obama used to change the name to Denali. And Trump also signed an executive order standardizing national architecture styles. The order mandates that new federal buildings like courthouses and agency headquarters adhere to classical architectural styles such as Greek and Roman. Trump asserts that these styles are sturdy and useful. The order criticizes
I'm going to say it. I know. Every other fucking person has already said it 500 times. This is fascistic as fuck. It's also like baby brain as fuck. It's one of those things. It's like, this is a very blue pill thing to think, by the way. Because like, you know, yeah, red pill is you took the red pill and you can now see things that you couldn't see before. Because I used to think like modern architecture, or not architecture, sorry. Modern art was stupid and dumb. It's like, oh, it's a toilet. Oh, it's a banana on a wall. And then like I like woke the fuck up, sheeple. And I realized, wow, I'm cringe as shit. I can't believe I ever thought that. I'm a fucking idiot. Damn. Because like the arts, first of all, the art's purpose is not to be aesthetically pleasing. Second, it's not so hard to be the 100,000th painter to be able to do realism. Oh, we get it. You can fucking paint something that looks realistic. Congrats. Wonderful. You did it. Like, it's just a matter of like practicing. Making stylistically difficult things is not easy, right? Art isn't supposed to be aesthetically pleasing. What? No, that's not the purpose of art. I'm sorry if you think that that's the purpose of art. And I think like the biggest wake-up call for me or anyone else, by the way, is like looking at Picasso's work. If you think Picasso sucks and you're like, he can't even draw a person, dumb artist, this guy sucks. I implore you to look at what he used to make before he started making what he became known for making. Like, if you see this and you're like, this is so bad, I could fucking make this. Like here, I looked up a quick Google, Picasso realism. He used to be able to do this when he was a fucking baby. And then he grew the fuck up and realized this is boring as shit. There's no life in my paintings. It doesn't convey anything. It's just aesthetically pleasing and only aesthetically pleasing. This is not what art was meant for. Art should not be emotionless garbage meant to sate the masses. It should be something that makes people think. It should be something that conveys something more than just, oh, look, I can paint something realistic. This communicates absolutely nothing. And that's why he makes this weird shit. He can make whatever he fucking wants to make. Breeders made a song called Huffer. Lead singer messed up and dropped the F-bomb mid-song. Like, fuck? Small screw-up makes the song better. Perfection is not art. Yeah. If your understanding of art is like, if it has to look good to be, sorry, it has to be aesthetically pleasing to be art, I'm sorry to tell you that a lot of the artists who have made modern art or abstract art or Dada or surrealist art, all of these people can paint like this. They choose not to because it's boring. This is the equivalent of being served chicken nuggets at a 5-star restaurant. Anyone with a fucking palate that's better than a fucking 4th grader's palate would be embarrassed to consume this garbage. They would see this and be like, what was this, made for a child? give me something more challenging. Give me something more interesting. I mean, Picasso is quoted as saying, it took me 4 years to learn how to paint like Raphael, but a lifetime to learn how to paint like a child. Mm-hmm. So I do implore anyone, this is like one of my soapboxes that I like to reach for. If you don't think that abstract art or modern art is good, I implore you to look at what these people made before they started making toilets on fucking walls or whatever. Like, I do. There's a reason they stopped making this, and it's not because they couldn't paint. It's because they thought that this was lifeless and there wasn't anything else for it. And if you think that it's easy, let me inform all of you of no. The painting Who's Afraid of Red, Yellow, and Blue, 3. Barnett Newman, who painted many paintings that were just 1 or 2 colors. A lot of people go to museums and see this. I actually went to the LACMA recently, so I actually got to see some of, not these ones, but I think I ended up seeing a few Barnett Newman paintings, which was cool, or similar styled ones. And they're really impressive in person. They are, some of them are like actually, oh man, I took a couple pictures and I have like the names saved and everything. I've never been great with names, honestly, in general, but there were some paintings that were just like 1 or 2 colors and they're like breathtaking. Like they just, you just feel sucked into the painting. But where was I? Oh yes, yeah, so this
modern art, more like modern fart.
This painting was slashed with a box cutter. Rothko, I think it was a Rothko that I saw that was like just gorgeous. Anyways, modern fart. Shut the fuck up. Someone went in to a museum that had, or an exhibit that had no security, took a box cutter, tore it, and ended up getting sentenced to 5 months in jail. But there's a more interesting story to this painting. Apparently, people who restore paintings, art restoration, they couldn't fix the painting. No one wanted to take the job to try and undo the damage done by the box cutter because it was too hard to fix. Because he was able to make the paint or make the painting look like it had no brush strokes. The techniques that he used made it literally just look smooth. Even though you can tell it's done with paint. Like if you took a knife, you could remove some of the paint chip off there. A human printer, basically, yeah. And they couldn't find people to restore it to make it the same way. I would just use a paint roller. Just pour the paint on the canvas. They couldn't.
DNML.
The specific color, the specific pigments, and just use the paint tool. Yeah, and the way that it was painted looked human printed. So this painting that everyone mocked and said it was garbage and anyone could do this. As it turns out, people whose job it is to restore paintings couldn't fucking do it. Isn't that cool? Isn't that sick? That's so fucking dope. I'm really puzzled by the idea that abstract or modern art can't be aesthetically pleasing. I mean, no one said that it can't be. A lot of abstract art and modern art is aesthetically pleasing. I would say a good majority of it is. Isn't the whole point of art to captivate us and give us something to think about? I mean, I think the movie Saw gave us a lot to think about. I don't think it was very aesthetically pleasing. I think the movies, a lot of horror movies give us a lot of things to think about. I don't think they're particularly aesthetically pleasing. It just has to be interesting. And in general, things that are aesthetically pleasing don't tend to be very interesting, right? But there are lots of things that are aesthetically pleasing that are modern art. Something being aesthetically pleasing just has no bearing on whether or not, first off, that it's modern art or that it's abstract art, but also more importantly, that it's good or bad. Also, the thing is, you don't have to like every piece of modern art. I've been to many modern art museums, and I like maybe 5 or 10% of the stuff I see in there. Most of the stuff I see in there, and I'm like, And then once in a while, you run into a piece that's, like, I don't know how else to explain it. It draws you in. And you feel captivated by it. And you feel like you cannot look away. And I'm sure a lot of the other pieces in the museums that I didn't care about, other people felt that way about those. I felt a little like you on art, but what changed my mind was the art installation Can't Help Myself by Sun Yuan and Peng Yu, which is only possible through modern technology. Yes, this is the one with the robot that like has to clean up after itself on the leaking, but it can never actually do it, and it's constantly going to create more of a mess. Or sorry, it'll leak faster than it can clean it. This one. This is a really cool one.
It's just like Pokemon. Even the ugliest looking Pokemon has a fan or two.
Yeah. Even, what's that one Pokemon? Trash something? Garbaggio or whatever. I'm sure there's someone that likes that one. Trubbish. Yeah, anyways. Art is not art because it is or isn't aesthetically pleasing. Sisyphus, yes. Art is what calls to you and what you want it to be. There are artists who have never named any of their paintings or any of their work because they don't want to influence the viewer's eyes. It's just unnamed painting 1, unnamed painting 2, unnamed painting 3. It's cool. And once you, like I said, going back to where we started, it's very red pill, where once you realize that you were a total buffoon for thinking that art could only be good if it looked realistic and if it was aesthetically pleasing to you, you're so free. There's like so much more you can enjoy. It's like saying that you'll never eat fish and then you start eating fish dishes and you're like, wait, sushi's pretty good. Wait, actually, yo, calamari kind of hits. Fuck. Okay, wait. We could save Hassan. Hassan targeted. Actually, didn't know that he didn't like fish. I'm not a big fish person, but I'm down to try. Right? Not nagi though. I'm not a. When the fish taste is too strong, I do. I'm I can't. I can't. Ugh. Janelle, fish eaters on top. Let's go. But eels are so good. Yeah, fuck. Anyways, mercury. I love mercury. Some people think that sex is only to make kids. No shit, they don't understand art. Yo, I need that fucking printed on my tombstone, dude. Fuck, that goes crazy. That is a great message, dude. Thrag Drizzle, you fucking ate with that one. I'm gonna be honest, you fucking ate. You're eating. Anywho, wish you had a reactionary take instead of this toilet on the wall is actually good. I mean, I think the toilet on the wall is stupid. Doesn't make it any less art. I don't particularly like it. I still don't like it. But I respect modern art. I like the banana on the wall. I'll be honest. Fuck. Fuck, I like the banana on the wall. I love the banana on the wall. That shit is so sick. Though I die by the banana on the wall, dude. But you don't have to fucking like it, dude. You don't have to like it. It's like music, dude. Like, I'm not gonna say, look, okay. If you like Taylor Swift, dude, guess what? A lot of people like Taylor Swift. I don't like Taylor Swift. It doesn't mean that it's not music. It just means it's not music for me. The toilet isn't art for me. Doesn't stop it from being art. I think it provided interesting discourse. And beyond that, I don't really care about the toilet. TLDR. Once you're at the point where you start banning all other types of architecture because there's only one good type of architecture, disgusting, gross. Also, like, how dare you? Okay. I'm sorry. Greek and Roman, that's what you're gonna pick? Don't get me wrong. I like Greek and Roman architecture. It is okay. But how could you pick that over the far superior Baroque architecture? Oh my God. Ignoring the fascistic tendencies of those who like Greek and Roman art, you would pick that over Baroque? You're crazy. Or forget about Baroque architecture. Gothic architecture? I'll pull up a picture for you guys. I'm sorry. If you're picking Greco-Roman architecture over this, you're a fucking buffoon. You're an idiot. You're a fool. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Okay? I'm sorry, dude. Gothic architecture, it simply go hard. It simply go crazy. It simply go stupid. This is so ugly. Loser, boo, loser. I want my columns and I want them to be white and I want the squiggly line and then that's it. Boring. Let me guess, your favorite sex position is missionary? Christ, dude. Let me guess, your favorite drink, a glass of milk.
Nice
Grow up.
bangs.
Okay, grow up. Come on. There's more things to experience in the world.
Greek and Roman architecture with an 8-lane highway and a big-ass parking lot D&M bows.
The 8-lane highway, yeah. Woohoo! Yeah. Someone who works at a university tries to keep the same style for their buildings. It gets boring and old. You know that all the buildings are part of the university, but red brick with white accent gets old. Yep. Mm-hmm. You like modern furnishings and room design, or prefer something different? I like maximalist people and maximalist homes, but I think my OCD prevents me from wanting that for myself. Because all the stuff gives me anxiety and I just want to throw all of it out. So I like very minimal living. This style is just whatever, just like very simple shit. Like I like the light brown, like the tan, mildly, whatever the lightest shade of brown is for woods, and then white. And that those usually go with everything, and they're simple and they're easy to work with, and they look visually not cluttered. I know, very boring. I know. I mean, look at my room, guys. It's not very interesting. But I need to live somewhere that doesn't stress me. I like color in the form of lights. That's where I get my color, lighting. And then that way I can change the lighting whenever I want to be whatever color I want. And then I can fill the stuff with a bunch of colorful things. I don't want, like, you see like this sex carpet. This is nice. I like it. Nice and colorful. But the furniture is all white, so it goes with everything. Or like getting all black furniture to go with everything. And then all of the little decorations can be fun colors. It's because I'm a gamer. It's true. It's because I'm a gamer. What the fuck is the sex carpet? This is my sex carpet. Sorry, sex rug. Yeah, that rug fucks. I just thought it looked cool, and I liked that it was like 3D. It was like a 3D carpet or 3D rug. I like it. I think it's cool. Sex box 360. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think that is a good stopping point for today. I can't believe I was... Why is all this shit on me? Whatever. I can't believe I was foolish enough to think that we would finish a single legal video. We've never been able to do it before. Maybe next time, surely, clueless.